Good morning. It's early September and just starting to feel a little bit like fall. And I thought it would be a great day to show you my Book of Shadows. I've been working on it for just about a month now. So enough time to, really have some things to show, but early enough where it's really, still a introductory kind of beginner process for me. My Book of Shadows is in this Hobonichi Techo cousin planner. I was actually using this as just a daily planner for work and personal life for a few months, starting in April. It's an April start planner because the Japanese school year starts in April. But I realized I didn't really feel like I was using it optimally as a planner. So I actually got a different planner, a smaller version of the same one. It's the Hobonichi Techo, and so it's a bit smaller, and that was really enough for a planner. And then I felt quite guilty that I had this large planner and still had a lot of time left. But when I decided to use it as my Book of Shadows, I didn't really know how it would go, but I was able to not really have too many expectations because, it's not like I got a new book. When you get a new book, there's like so much pressure to do it really well, but this was already partially used. And what I did is I tied off all the daily pages that I did use. They're tied off here. So what's in here is just normal planner stuff. And at first I didn't have it tied off, and I really liked it once I did tie it off because now all that stuff is just kind of in there and not really visible. So this really feels like only a Book of Shadows. And plus I kind of like the look of having a little twine, like it gives it kind of a little bit of a rustic look. But other than that, I really do like having the using this planner because it's very inconspicuous. It's not a big black book with like witch symbols on it or something. So someone just walking by wouldn't even think to look in it. It doesn't look too interesting, and I'm not quite open about being a witch quite yet. So I kind of like that it's just subtle and no one would really know, although I did recently add these bookmarks, which makes it, I guess, slightly more obvious. And I hope you don't mind, I'm sipping my coffee as I go through this. Alrighty, let me get into it. So when I open this up, I have some cards. I have a whole deck of these cards, and every couple weeks or so, kind of whenever I feel like it or kind of remember to, I'll swap out these cards for different ones. So I like just having them in here to look at and reflect on whenever I kind of feel like it. I also just have some stickers stored in the pockets. I have this beautiful postcard that I keep in here. I really like it. It's very pretty. It's obviously nature themed. And here I just have a sticky note reminding me of things I wanted to look up as I was studying things. And then, so this is the Techo planner, and this is the month of September, which I just started. So again, before this was my Book of Shadows, I was using it as a normal planner. So now I'm just kind of using the month to have an overview of different more spiritual events, like the full moon and the beginning of the Maven season. And the new moon here. But I do plan to add more. I just started this month, and then I do have some, I randomly have a personal appointment there, but I'm really slowly trying to phase this out of being any kind of personal, daily life planner. So then this has a bunch of monthly and weekly pages, and I'm honestly still working on using the weekly pages in a Book of Shadows format. So maybe in a future video I can show that. But I have my so kind of after all the weeklies where the daily pages start, I have my Wheel of the Year. And the way I'm doing it is I started this book in Lammas, so I read about Lammas and wrote some notes on like kind of what it is, and I have a picture of wheat that I actually got from my Crate and Barrel catalog, but because Lammas is kind of the first harvest and wheat is, even here you can see wheat is a symbol of the season, so I put that there. And the way I'm going to do it is in the start of each new season I'm going to learn about it and write about it. So I'll kind of learn about when the season starts instead of, doing it all at once or something. So I will be doing Maven sometime this month. And then here I have witch affirmations. So this was from something on Pinterest. They have like 50 witch affirmations, all sorts of things, from like I am powerful, magic flows through me, every skill and ritual teaches me something new, just a bunch of affirmations. And I try to read these in the morning. They're both about magic, but also just about kind of peace and tranquility in your life. So I try to read these in the morning, and then I just have this card that came with something I ordered once and the 4 elements here. And then this I actually had in my planner before it was my Book of Shadows, but it's my period tracker, which seems pretty relevant to have in here because, it's kind of my personal cycle, kind of connected to nature, and I kind of have the new and full moons. So I am tracking my period in here. And then again, these are the pages, the daily pages I was using when I was using it as a planner. So I tied them all off, and then the first day that I actually used this as a Book of Shadows was August 6th, and Lammas had already started a few days before this, but I put in, I wrote down a Lammas harvest ritual, which I actually didn't do, but it's just good to have it in there to know for the future. And this is just something I found online, but a lot of the things in this Book of Shadows actually came from this book, Becoming the Witch, The Art of Magic by Danae Moon Thorpe. Been reading this book and then taking a lot of notes and copying down spells from this book into my Book of Shadows, and I really like this book, especially the first few chapters have really just given me a place to start. So if you are a new witch or trying to get into learn about witchcraft kind of from scratch, this is a great place to start. It is due back to the library, and although I could renew it, I do think I might return it for now and switch to some other sources of material, just because it's starting to feel a little bit like school, almost, that I'm like trying to read this book and study this book, and like I want to kind of keep my study and practice kind of open to all sorts of different things. So I think I'm going to return this book and maybe expand and look at some different books or sources on the internet, things like that. And I do intend to check it out again. And I do think it's great. I just, it's several hundred pages, and I don't want to just keep looking at one or using one book on my journey. I kind of want to look at a few different sources as I continue from here. Alright, so that's the Lammas harvest ritual. This was some intro notes from some of the intros to becoming a witch, a couple incantations. I actually really like this incantation. It says, the moon bewitch my thoughts from now, I to open on my brow, to weave my truth in every spell, my secrets to the fairies tell. I travel to the world within, the light, the dark, the change begin. I really like that one. So yeah, these are just some general, some kind of general background on being a witch. I love this spread, probably one of my favorite in the whole book. It has the 3 moon goddesses and the new moon, and then some information about the sun. I actually love this too. This is so random. It's from the Crate and Barrel catalog, but it's a really good capture of like the late summer Lammas season, because you still have like things are very green and colorful, bright orange. You still have those bright, like lively summer colors, but then you also kind of have things looking a little bit dry, some browns and grays, kind of like things are drying out a little bit, retreating into fall a little bit. So, and then I use like a 3D puff paint to like add little embellishments. You can't really see it. Turning it so you can see I added like little 3D embellishments on it, and I love this. I love the way it turned out. And then this was a full moon, so I took some notes on that. I called it the sturgeon moon because I didn't really realize that which names for the moons were more like from the zodiac at the time. So I think this was the full moon in Aquarius, but I called it the sturgeon moon, and just took notes on different names of the moon, of the same, different names of the same moon and other things like that. And then this was the first spell I ever did, spell with actual ingredients, not just an incantation, and it was the spell of the earth goddess. So I did that. It came from this book. Basically all the spells came from the book, but I did that spell. And then I took some notes on the divine underworld. And then I absolutely love this spread. This would be my other favorite. I really just connected with reading about the underworld after having gone through a lot personally and going through some dark times personally, but learning about Persephone and how she entered the underworld innocently, but arose even stronger, and as a queen, and still maintained, still kind of watched over spring in that innocence, but also kind of was a ruler of the underworld at the same time. It just really resonated with me, as it probably does with anyone who's gone through anything, which everyone has. So this was actually, my partner got like a soap and it was wrapped in this, and he gave it to me because he knows I like pretty papers. I just printed this image of Persephone out from the internet, and then some quotes about it, and I really like this one. It's just, the shadow makes you whole, and I just love that because there's so many times you want to oh my gosh, I bent it back, but yeah, there's so many times you wish you could just never have experienced the bad things or undo them or erase them. But I love this quote that's just like, that's like part of you, and you need that part of you. And just some other quotes about the shadow and the underworld. And then just some more notes about like spells and circles. This spread wasn't meant to be so elaborate, but it kind of happened accidentally because I messed up and then I glued things on top. This is just about circles, the sacred circle, notes on altars. This is kind of random. I gathered some flowers and pressed them, but I kind of just put them here and started taking notes about the element earth. And then I have fire element banishing spell to kind of banish things you don't want inside you. Some more notes about the altar and the elements. The element water, the element air, just notes about them. And then the witch's tools, so the wand, and a spell to charge the wand with fire. I haven't done this yet. It has to be on the full moon, and I don't actually have a wand yet, so just wrote that in there, but we'll do that in the future. And then some notes on the new moon in Virgo. This is just an image or part of a decoration that I got in a mail order, And this is from that incantation I read, "My secrets to the fairies tell." I just love that incantation, so I just, did a pretty page on that for fun. And then a theme, I'm actually not sure if I'm saying that right, FME or a theme, but the witch's sword, and notes on that and how to charge your sword. And then this came from a paper pack from someone's Patreon. Her name is The Writing Witch on YouTube, and I subscribed to her monthly paper pack, and this Ode to September was in there. Her stuff is on like full size 8.5 by 11 paper, which is too big, so I had to cut it up, but I actually really like the way this looks. It's a kind of really antique look, and it's just, about what to kind of notice and think about both physically in the world and inside as September approaches. And yeah, that's where I am. I was actually on vacation for part of last week, so I'm behind. It's now today is the 5th actually, and I haven't started on September 1st. Another reason why I like using a planner with dates is my goal is kind of like to write something or study something every day and write it on that day, which I've done pretty well at, although I do end up skipping days, and of course when I traveled I didn't do that. So sometimes there's some catch up, but I kind of like the idea of just kind of having the motivation to do something every day and kind of keep up with it. And then in the back I have some more stuff from my mailings from the Paper Witch. I have the Zodiac, sorry, not the Paper Witch, the Writing Witch. I have this card from her. I also have these other affirmation cards that I have a deck of, and this is one. It says, "I release all fear, guilt, and anger. I am safe, and I am at peace with the process of life." So that's one of the cards, and I change these out kind of periodically too, and just have them as a reminder here. And then the Hobonichi planner cover has a big pocket here where I have a lot more of my paper from the Writing Witch that I'll use for future spreads. But it's just really nice to have this big pocket where I can just store them and it's all here. Also from the Writing Witch, I have, she sent in the paper pack these little like tags, and I ended up putting them on the bookmarks of this planner. So one of the bookmarks is actually marking this week, which is empty right now, and then the other one's marking the day that I'm on. So they're both really pretty. You have a goddess here with a bird. I don't know who that is. Maybe I'll learn one day. And then also the sun. So yeah, that's where I am. I've really enjoyed creating this and learned a lot. If you want to get started with your own practice and Book of Shadows, a book like this or another intro book is great to get you started. And there's so much to learn. I never realized how much there is to learn. I now realize there's like infinite more than I can learn in my own lifetime, and that's just really exciting. It can be, you can get into learn more of the lore and the mystical part of it, or you can learn more about nature. I'm learning all the different flowers and their names and how different plants work. There's just infinite knowledge of nature and of the universe to be learned. And so I'm just so excited about this lifelong journey. And yeah, that's my Book of Shadows so far. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see more videos. All right. Bye.